Yeah, now in terms of the AFC East, I do think it makes it a lot more competitive. Obviously, the Patriots won 12 games last year, and the Bills, for the first time in, a decade or two, they had 10 wins. It was a big deal for them. Now, I think it's going to still be very competitive. I think it's still going to be a two-horse race. I think Miami has done some things to close the gap, but it's really going to depend on their quarterback play with Fitzpatrick and obviously with Tua Tagovailoa, how he develops. But this Cam signing, if Cam is healthy, that's a huge pickup because he is an MVP. He is a All Pro, Pro Bowl, Rookie of the Year. Player of the Year. He has the accolades. He has some awards that some very prestigious quarterbacks don't even have.
Come on, dude.
Come
on, man.
That's a statement. That's a true statement. It's a true statement.
I know Russell Wilson doesn't have one, dude. It's unfortunate.
Does he have one?
I don't think Breeze has one either.
Has what?
MVP.
No, he has a Player of the Year in the Super Bowl.
I don't think he does have one.
Yeah. Let me see.
that. That just goes to show you, man. It's a nice award, but
don't discredit it.
It's a really nice award. I'm not knocking it, but if Breeze doesn't have one, Russell Wilson doesn't have one. There's another guy that doesn't have one.
Breeze has 2 Offensive Player of the Years, has 1 Super Bowl MVP, he has 1 All Pro.
He doesn't have MVP.
Competitive it is, though, man.
What?
That lets you know how competitive it is. Drew's best year. Think about this. The problem with Drew was this: his best year, the year he should have won it, was when Mahomes threw for 50 touchdowns, bro.
I don't know what to say, dude.
Bro, Ben doesn't even have a vote.
What?
Your boy Ben has never received a vote, nor has Russell Wilson.
There's just something wrong with it then. That's all. That's all, dude. Come on. What? I didn't hear you. I lost you there. What'd you say?
I said, what about Super Bowl MVPs? Is there something wrong with that?
Come on, man. So I saw a Steeler account posting something like that recently. Like, come on. I was gonna comment on that, but you know what? Santonio Holmes was on the podcast. I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm ripping on him at all. It's just more that I have that loyalty to Ben.
Well, look, you be loyal to who comes on the show. When Ben comes on the show, then we let's go.
Dude, wait, real quick then. You talking about the AFC East? It's going to be a little tougher with Cam being there. What's the initial take? Who wins right now? This is just hot take right now. This isn't final. Obviously, we'll get to that more closer to the season. What are you saying?
I still have the Bills winning it because they have the better roster.
All right.
And this is the thing.
You know what I'm thinking.
What you thinking?
Well, I got to go Patriots, man. I got to go Patriots win the AFC East. I just got to go Cam and Belichick. It's as simple as that. That's all I'm going off of.
That's fair enough. I look at it like this, man. From a roster standpoint, the Bills roster, top to bottom, is a lot better than the Patriots roster. You go down position by position. Cam Newton is the only thing right now.
There's no doubt. It's one of those like.
Yeah.
I was having this whole debate with my friends the one weekend. It was the 2017 Warriors versus one of those Bulls Jordan teams.
Yeah.
And the argument, I would say the only argument you could have for the Bulls beating those Warriors is just Jordan. It's like that X factor. Because that Warriors team, it's just stacked. You have all those top players: Durant, Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Iguodala's your 5th guy. Like, that's absurd. The X factor is Jordan. So I guess that's, like, in my case, if you're going to say Patriots, you say Belichick and Cam. Somehow they're going to find a way. But, yeah, on paper, I got to give it to you. Bills across the board have a better roster.
And it's not even close, man. It's not even close. And it's funny, too. Speaking of the roster thing that we did, you remember we posted it on multiple platforms. So this is the thing that gets me. When you see the different groups of followers and how they pick. So when you look on IG, it's predominantly Steelers fans that follow on IG. So you see the comment section dominated by Steelers. You look on YouTube, it's a little more diverse.
Oh, I saw that.
It's different than on IG. And then obviously on Facebook, where it's pretty much only Bills fans up there for me, it was just straight Bills, not even close. So I just always laughed when I saw that. But still, man, when I look at the rosters, dude, the Bills have the better roster. Now, I don't think that the Bills are going to end up with a better record or a better season than the Steelers, because obviously I think with Ben coming back, that changes a lot. But the Bills have the better roster. I just think the X factor is at that quarterback play where you're talking about Big Ben versus Josh Allen. But when you look at the stats, man, when you look at player for player, dude, the Bills got it.
But if we're going, I'm going Steelers over Bills still. But for Patriots, Bills, I'll give you that for Bills Patriots for sure. So
Bro.
you're saying Bills still got the East over the Patriots?
Not still. I mean, because you got to think the Patriots have been having it, but I say the Bills are going to win it this year, though.
Yeah, well, I guess the whole narrative coming into the offseason was like, all right, the Bills are clearly the favorites because now the Patriots have Stidham. It's going to be a down year for them. They could potentially be tanking, which is something I didn't really believe. I always thought Belichick was going to really try to win, and I don't want to say stick it to Brady. I think it's more or less for him to show everyone that, hey, I can do it with anyone. Not more or less like, hey, I can do it without Brady. It's just I can do it in general, no matter who I got here. I got a perfect system in place. But people were down on him in general. So one of the things with the Bills, obviously I was talking about the Patriots being down a little bit, but I think, you know how I like to reach for things maybe a little bit outside of the lines, outside of the field. I think the pressure might get to the Bills this year. I think there's going to be a lot of hype here, and I think like the Browns last year, just we've always seen it in the NFL. A team's supposed to be the next one that takes the torch, but maybe doesn't live up to expectations. That's kind of how I'm feeling with the Bills this year. Because you got Belichick, you got the experience in Belichick, and then I definitely like them bringing in Cam. So that's kind of one of my arguments too for Patriots over Bills in the East.
Now, the reason why I say the whole pressure narrative is not even close, they've already been to the playoffs 2 of the past 3 years. When you talk about the Browns had a winning season, that's a different level of pressure. You're talking about going from never having a winning season to being playoff contenders, favorites in the division, Super Bowl contenders. They never had a winning season. When you look at the Bills, the past 3 years, they've been in the playoffs twice. They just won 10 games last year. They have a young quarterback who's taking a major step in the right direction. With Baker, that wasn't the case. When you looked at how the roster for the Browns was constructed, it was a lot of let's go free agent splash, right? It didn't gel. It didn't mesh. When you look at the Bills, a lot of this is homegrown. A lot of these players are drafted there. It's drastically different. So that's why I don't buy into the whole pressure narrative, because they're not being asked to do something they haven't done yet. They've already won 10 games. They won 10 games last year with a lot less on offense. Think about this.
Yeah, they can make the playoffs, especially with the 7 seeds now being in. But in terms of like winning the AFC East and feeling like you're the dominant team,
not just making the playoffs, they will win the AFC East, bro. When you look at the receiving room, first off, really proven. They got 2 proven 1,000-yard receivers, and this is another reason why we talked about Steelers versus Bills. When we talk Steelers, we're hoping and projecting for next year. We're hoping that Juju can prove that he can be a number 1 receiver outside of AB. We're hoping that Deontay Johnson can take a next step. We're hoping that Chase Claypool can step up. We're hoping that James Washington can step up. Stephon Diggs is a 1,000-yard receiver, proven multiple times, proven to be a number 1 receiver. He was Batman. Thielen was Robin. Wasn't a debate. We talked about John Brown. John Brown, 1,000-yard receiver, proven. He was the number 1 receiver last year. There's not a hoping or a wishing. We've seen it. It's different. Cole Beasley, as your 3rd best receiver, has proven to be a steadily constant producer. He's proven that. There is no debate. When you talk about defense, we're hoping Devin Bush can take a step and be a Pro Bowl linebacker, right? We hope that. Tremaine Edmonds is a Pro Bowl linebacker. There is no guessing work with that. We're hoping that when we talk corners, we said Tre'Davious White was in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. So who's our best corner? Are we going Joe Hayden or are we going Steven Nelson? Either way,
they're both top 10.
Okay, they're both top 10, but either way, Tre'Davious is proven to be a better quarterback than both of them. And you know how I feel about Joe. That's my guy. But Tre'Davious is on that level. We talked about Josh Norman. Josh Norman is a proven All-Pro. So if Josh Norman's your second guy, are we going Joe Hayden versus Tre'Davious and then Josh Norman versus Steven Nelson? Because however you want to debate that, I'm going with the Bills corners in that regard. We got Minkah Fitzpatrick, absolutely, a megastar. But you talk about Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, they are 2 proven, consistent starting safeties in the NFL. It's not a debate. The jury's still out on Edmonds. We know Edmonds is a productive player without a doubt, but he hasn't taken that next step just yet. And then we talk about the front guys. We know for a fact, hey, TJ Watt, megastar. We know Bud has the potential to tap into that range. We know Stephon Tuitt has the potential to tap into that range, but they haven't done it consistently just yet. We know Cam Hayward, hey, star, without a doubt. But then the flip side of that is Mario Addison, his numbers collectively through his career versus Bud's career is not close. He has way more sacks. Jerry Hughes has had multiple double-digit sack seasons. So when we breaking it down roster for roster, spot for spot, that's what I'm telling you, man. It's not it's not far-fetched. It's not pressure. It's not their roster is this and that roster is that, or we're projecting or hoping. These are proven guys. These are proven commodities. And that's why for me, I'm like, dude, it's not a debate. The Bills have the better roster.
Well, you're talking about Steelers though now, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of the AFC East, go ahead.
I'm talking Bills versus Steelers roster, and I'm also talking Bills in terms of the pressure of winning the AFC East. Why it's not pressure?
Do you trust Josh Allen though?
He just led the wins last year.
They didn't win the East though. They still didn't win the East. They still didn't prove that they were the top dog in the AFC East.
We always said Brady was there. No Brady, they're favorite.
Dude, but you replace him with Cam, man. They still got Belichick. That's my argument. That's kind of what I'm sticking to. You know what I mean? And then just the whole pressure of the Bills not being able to live up to it. So that's kind of my belief.
My whole argument to that is this: you can say Cam and Belichick, but when we point roster and we say who has the more talented team, it's not close. The Bills have the more talented roster than the Patriots. It's not close. And we're hoping that Cam Newton can return to form. But that's the question mark. There are no question marks when you're talking about the Bills roster right now. If your biggest concern is can they live up to an expectation.
Do you feel good about Josh Allen in a big game? That's my thing.
Well, he's had big games and he's balled out. When is he not?
Dude.
One big game he didn't produce in.
What?
Remember the Cowboys game? That was supposed to be the big game on Thanksgiving. He balled out. Remember the Steelers?
Dude, he barely beat us, and we had Duck, and he threw for like 100 yards. I'm not saying it was a bad game. It was a good game.
Is this though? All I'm saying is this. Remember, that was a big game for him. We're not talking about the Duck Hodges narrative. We were talking about Josh Allen versus top 2, top 3 defense. And we saw Josh still ball out versus that Steelers defense. We saw that. Then we saw him in the playoffs. He went to the wire, went to overtime with the Texans. So for me, you've seen him on every stage continue to produce. That's my thing. So for me, I don't look at it as, oh man, this is going to be too big for him. Do you believe in him? The proof's in the pudding. What is it? If you don't believe right now, you're just trying to lie to yourself.
No way, dude. I haven't seen him take that next step.
So from year 1 to year 2, he didn't take a step. You're crazy if you think that, man.
No. Just in terms of, hey, can I trust him? I don't know if I could trust him.
So leading the team to 10 wins, something that Baker Mayfield has never done. You can't trust that?
That's different though. That's the Browns.
What? How?
Dude, that's the Browns. It's Baker. I'm not. We're not talking about them, dude. We're not talking about them. I would take Josh. I mean, Josh Allen versus Baker. That's a whole nother debate right there. I'm not trying to get into that. I'm talking about Bills trying to win the AFC East versus Cam and Belichick.
You talk about the jump for Josh Allen. His first year he played 11 games.
He definitely improved. Yes, there's no denying that. I don't know if he could take the next jump though. I really don't think it's up in the air, dude. Eye test is telling me it might not happen.
I'm trying to figure out the narrative of him not taking a jump when he went from 10 touchdowns his rookie year to 20.
No, he did. That's what I mean. He took the jump from rookie to second year. I don't know if he could take that next level jump, man.
Bro, you're seeing it. He had 12.
That's not what my eyes are seeing.
You're seeing it, bro. It's no debate. Like I said, if you don't see a jump that he's already taking, you're lying to yourself, man.
You're saying the year 2 to year 3 jump. What do you think? They win the AFC East, they win a playoff game? Is that what it's going to take? Absolutely. And then just a little improvement in stats?
Yeah, absolutely. Like for me, it's more about him winning the playoff game, winning the AFC East first, and winning the playoff game. When Brady's in the division, totally different conversation because we know what Brady is and we know what New England is. I don't care about Cam Newton being there. I think Cam Newton will lead the Patriots to the playoffs if he's healthy. I don't see them winning the AFC East, though. But my thing is this, for Josh Allen, what I'm grading him on is leading his team to win the AFC East. When you win 10 games in your division, traditionally, that gets you the division. Traditionally. So for me, I want to...
I don't know. We've had 10 wins and got the wild card. We've had the Ravens and the Bengals have some good runs.
The AFC North historically is drastically different than other conferences. Yeah. Were 2 years where 3 teams went to the playoffs. Think about that, man. Our division does that. We're not. The AFC East hasn't historically been like that. A lot of other conferences aren't like that.
It might be tight this year, though. It might be tight just across the board.
So that's why for me, I'm saying, man, if he won 10 games last year, I expect him to be around 11, 12 wins. Like, that's what I'm expecting from him. I'm expecting him to win the AFC East. I'm expecting him to win a playoff game. That's the next step for him.
You know what a better comparison is? Because I know I just dropped the Browns earlier whenever I was mentioning about like not living up to the hype. But the Browns are different because, like you said, they didn't make the playoffs or anything. Yeah. Probably a better comparison, what I'm actually trying to think of, is the Bears from 2 years ago. Making the playoffs, and then they go, what was it, like 7-9, 8-8 last year? That's what I'm thinking.
The reason why I still think that was different, though, was because nobody ever believed in Mitch Trubisky. Like, that was never...
Dude, I think people were kind of on him for that second year until the playoff game. The playoff game he let down a lot. I think he was a big surprise in his second year. But his playoff game he let down, and I think that's when the narrative started where, like, are we sure he can live up to the big moments?
Look, two things. And when we talk about Trubisky, number one, his rookie year, obviously he missed a lot of time. He was he played 12 games his rookie year, excuse me. But he
was nothing his rookie year. He wasn't good.
Remember, the second year was when they made the trade for who? Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Defense was the reason why they were dominant. Defense was the reason why they were winning. We talked about how they were winning the old-fashioned way. Defense winning. It was more Tampa Bay with Trent Dilfer. It was more Tampa Bay with Brad Johnson and Baltimore Ravens with Trent Dilfer at quarterback. And that was the whole narrative. It
100%.
Was never,
yeah, I agree.
It was just he was competent. Don't turn the ball over and we'll be fine. Josh Allen last year was the reason why they were winning. The Bills' defense was phenomenal, but Josh was the difference because they've already had elite defenses in Buffalo before, but the quarterback play was terrible. That was the difference. Whereas now when you're looking at what Josh is able to do, Josh led that team. Anybody that will tell you that
I'll give you Josh Allen over Trubisky all day. I guess I'm just talking in a vacuum. I just think that's how it's going to play out for them. No matter if Josh Allen's better than Trubisky just overall in general, I could see the Bills season playing out like that. Just in terms of the hype and living up to all the expectations, like I said.
I still think that's not apples. That's apples to oranges because, like I said, when you talk about the Bears,
it's not. It's just a comparison I'm trying to make, just to maybe make it simpler.
Yeah, I don't think there's any team right now that's going to compare to that. Because even when I thought about the Rams, it's different because the Rams went all the way to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. You can say maybe Jimmy Garoppolo and the Niners.
Yeah, I guess you could say I guess that's the thing. We would probably have to look back years and years to get a better comparison, but you know how we do as humans. We just try to get something just to make it simple in our minds. But yeah, I think I'm just more painting the picture of team expectations. They played pretty decent the last year, but I just don't think they're gonna do it this year. Like they should be taking those next steps. I just don't feel like they will. That's all.
When we talk about comparisons of like the Bears to the Bills, I think it's different because the way the Bears were winning, that wasn't sustainable. The way the Bills have been winning is very sustainable in terms of it's more of a complete team victory, but your quarterback is playing well. When we looked at Chicago and their wins, it was defense doing just outlandish stuff. Stuff that, like, man, you can't sustain. It's kind of like what we said with the Steelers this year, where they were scoring on defense multiple times. They were just playing just outstanding, insane. It's like, bro, that's not sustainable. You can't have those guys on the field that much. You have to have something on offense that's competent. And I think that's why it's different, man, when we're talking about the Bills and why I'm projecting to be so successful this year is because they've proven over the past 3 years that they have a sustainable method. They've proven over the past 3 years that they understand the team element of it. They're not relying on 1 or 2 star players, kind of like what we do in Pittsburgh, where we rely heavy on Ben. And if Ben isn't there, like a lot of things change, or if AB was out, a lot of things changed. They're not relying on that in Buffalo. It's a very complete model offensively and defensively. And I think that's the difference. And that's why, like I said, I'm high on the Bills, man.
I'm just going to go Belichick and Cam. But here's the thing. You might be right. I could be right. I don't know. I just want to see it. I haven't seen it from the Bills.